ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. A Junkanoo rush out kicking off the official launch of the 2018 Carifta Track and Field Championships, which will be held right here in the 242. Come Easter weekend, the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium is the place to be.
2 years ago, just before boarding our Carifta charter flight to to Grenada, the former Minister of Sports, Mr. Daniel Daunton, called me and said, "Madam President, with your permission, the government of the Bahamas would like the B3As to bid for the Carifta 2018 Games." And that was 6 o'clock in the morning. With former Minister Arnold Forbes as his representative on standby at the Carifta Congress, we made the pitch for our bid. At the 2017 Curacao Games, after convincing presentation by the B3A's executives, which also included a lot of our famous rum cake, we were officially ratified as the official host for the 27th edition of Carifta.
Now, this year's Carifta Track and Field Championships will also be one for the record books.
This 47th edition of the Games marks the 8th time that the Games will be held here in the Bahamas. In hosting this edition, the Bahamas has once again made history in that we would be the country to host the most Carifta Games to date. Barbados and Jamaica have each hosted 7 games.
Sports Minister, the Honorable Michael Pintard, recently giving another update on the Andre Rogers National Baseball Stadium. More than $11 million is still needed to complete the project.
The Cabinet has approved the additional funding that was required to settle some of the outstanding bills on the stadium, and of course to pay. We have to of course go back in and inspect it to make sure that the steel is fine, to do any remedial works that would be required, to tweak any engineering or architectural drawings that may be necessary to continue. We expect, once all of the funding is in place, that we should be completed by the end of next year.
Shannari Hepburn and Byron Ferguson, both playing professional volleyball in Greece. The national team duo spoke about how it's been going so far this season.
The season is going all right for me thus far. Personally and stats-wise, I'm where I was at the end of last season. So that means there's still a lot of room to keep growing and improving. It's always good to be playing in Europe. The level of competition is high and always competitive across the board, from positions 1 straight to 12. The key differences between overseas competition and home is that we play a lot faster in Europe. There's a lot more scouting and tactic involved during preparations of games, and the discipline you need while playing.
The season is going okay. We had a few setbacks, but we were still able to overcome and win a few games. We are now currently in 3rd place. We lost a few players who had significant injuries for the rest of the year, and we are still battling. So hopefully we can continue to get better and see where it takes us heading into the playoffs, as we only have a few more months left.
Still talking volleyball, Justina Dames furthering her education through the sport at Montreat College in North Carolina, and so far, so good.
It's a close-knit community. Like at school we say that the people in the community really care about you. It's a small school, also that the lecturers and staff and everyone else just really cares about you and more of your future. I've just completed my 2nd season playing volleyball. We made it to the conference, but unfortunately we were kicked out the 1st round. But overall, we played hard, we gave our best, and we'll continue to work hard. Playing volleyball at Montreat has changed me to look at the sport more than just the physical side, but also the mental side and just caring for your teammates. Because regardless of the season has finished and when I graduate, I'll always still have that connection with my teammates. And when I finish college, it is not my passion to play professional volleyball, but I would love to give back and help the younger students and kids learn to play the game because it's an awesome sport.
One of the country's top swimmers heading back to Washington, D.C. after a long winter break that included a stop here in Nassau and a training camp in Florida. We get that story from Chris Saunders.
Howard University Bison and Barracuda Swim Club standout Farron Cooper came home to Nassau for the winter break on a Friday night. Saturday morning, he was in the one place he loves to be, the pool. He had a little break, but is now getting ready to hit his collegiate goals for this year.
I've been hitting a lot of personal bests, seasonal bests. We did very well at our mid-season champs. Last year we came 8th, and this year we placed in 1st for the men's team side. So I think we've been doing very well as a team and individually.
Farron has hit a personal best in the 200 back, 50 free and 100 free, and he has some big goals for their Coastal Collegiate Sports Association conference meet this year.
My goal for this year is to make an A final in the 200 IM and the 100 and 200 backstrokes, and also to help my relay team to come within the top 5 at the meet.
Farron says he knows what it's going to take, and it's not about power for him.
It's all about the technical aspects more than the power. So with the turns and the underwaters and all that great stuff.
His ultimate goal this year is to make the CAC team, among others, but like many collegiates in the United States, the transition from short course yards to long course meters is difficult.
It's just the turns, because the turns is where you get most of your power from, and it's the fastest point in your race. So basically when you have more of that in the 25 yards is when you go much faster. So in the long course, when you only have one turn, and where you have 3 turns, yeah, it's a big difference.
Cooper and the Bison men start their year Saturday against the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Chris Saunders, ZNS Total Sports.
Those in the local sloop sailing community still mourning the death of 16-year-old Cameron Williams following last week's crane tragedy in Exuma. Here's Commodore of the National Family Island Regatta, Danny Strawn.
The whole entire sailing community was saddened by that tragic loss. But the fact is this, Cameron had a deep passion and love for sailing, and certainly we will miss him. So on behalf of the National Family Island Regatta, the Exuma community, and also the entire sailing community throughout the Bahamas, we're saddened by that loss. But we're hopeful of the fact that we need to take a look at how we decide to put these boats in the water. My thinking is that we need to go to trailers as opposed to using crane, which could cause tremendous accident.
The Peace on the Streets Basketball Classic changed venues in 2017, moving to the Hope Center. There were some challenges along the way, and organizer Carlos Reed spoke about whether there will be any more changes this year.
The rain have a mind of his own, and I think it affected the family night that we had because we had to shift it, and the only night that we had to do it was on a Monday, and the only gym that was available was C.I. Gibson, so it took a lot of weight.
And that will do it for sports. Stay tuned, there's more to come after the break.